مساء الورد والياسمين عليكم يا شباب ويا صبايا. Good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, mum. Hello, dad. Today, this is Tarek and Ayman from Hosheh MMA, and today we've got with us a very, very special guest, superstar radio DJ, business entrepreneur, artist, singer, megastar. But the one thing we care about today is that he is a massive MMA fan. With us today is the one and only Kristen George Fahad, a.k.a. Kris Fade. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what an intro.
That's
Bruce
his thing,
Buffer.
man. That's his thing.
They don't need Bruce anymore.
Who said that the other day? I wish Bruce Buffer did it like that.
It was, who was it?
It was Bilal Muhammad.
Bilal Muhammad. Yeah, you're right.
You know, Bruce, did you hear how much someone told me the other day? I don't know if it's legit. He's supposedly, how much is it? He told me 100K, but how much was it? Do you guys know?
It's 100K.
It's $100,000 for him to go
and scream.
Lady,
It's time.
Yeah. Oh, don't you love how he gets into it?
Oh, dude.
Introduce you first. Out of the ring. I love it's worth it. Like I think it's worth it. Like 100. I know it's a lot of money, and people are like $100,000 for him to get into the octagon and just do that little bit. But he brings so much to what the UFC is about. I feel,
Oh, yeah, you see some of the fighters engage with him, right? Like you'll see them staring him in the eye as he's saying their name, and I reckon he's got the power to change the flow of the fight. Honestly.
Yeah. Not only that, man, he keeps it up during COVID with no audience and no energy to pull off. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
But his brother is the other Buffer, right?
I don't know. We don't know.
Who's the other? Who's the
his
other
brother
Buffer?
is the one that goes, let's get ready to rumble.
The one from NASCAR.
No, the one from boxing. There's Bruce Buffer, and the other one is.
Are you sure it's his brother?
Yeah, they're brothers.
I didn't know that.
I had no
Buffer
idea.
brothers.
There you go. You're teaching us stuff already in MMA, man.
See?
Oh, it's because they're the Buffer brothers. There's Bruce Buffer, and then there's Michael Buffer. Michael Buffer is let's get ready to rumble. He's like $1 million every time you want him to say that.
Yeah, dude. That's copyright too, right?
Yeah, so his brother is Michael Buffer, 76 years old. So, and siblings, Bruce Buffer. So, Bruce must sit at the table with his brother Michael, and Michael gets paid like $1 million to do it. And Bruce is getting 100,000. Yeah.
5 million. I'm reading it here. 5 million per fight.
Wow.
5 million bucks.
What are you doing, Kris? What are you doing? You went to film and television high school, worked your ass off on Australian TV, Australian radio. You came to Dubai. You've been here for 20 years. Where's your 5 million, brother?
Mate, I've done some like in-ring calling. I've done that in the UAE.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man. Like the way that Bruce does it is not like to get your voice to be able to shout like that continuously and do all that. He's remarkable. So, hey, if we're kicking off our UFC chat, our MMA chat, talking about someone's voice, are we still on brand?
Yeah, we're still on brand. We're still on brand. As long as it's in, near, or around the cage, you're good.
Okay.
Who'd you call fights for, or when did you do the in-ring for who?
Man, I don't even know. It was early on, like. I did about four different tournaments. I did one on JBR. One of them was televised. I did one on Five. I did one at Five the Palm about 4 years ago. That was an interesting one as well. But yeah, I don't know. I did one in the back of Al Quoz here in Dubai in the industrial area because over the years, 12 years I've been here for, and over the years I've always seen different MMA or fighting promotion companies they start up, they claim the land and say, this is the biggest fighting promotion the Middle East has ever seen. And then like a year later, you never hear from them again, right?
Yeah, they're gone.
And I've just seen them all come and go. And occasionally I get called up and they're like, yo, do you want to do the in-ring? And I'm like, yeah, let's give it. I love it, man. You know why I love it? When you're in that octagon and you're standing between two guys who are just about to destroy themselves against each other, that adrenaline that you can hear them both just like, and you're in the middle of it, and it's scary. Like you can feel that energy, and then you just get out of there. They close that cage, and you just watch these two guys go at it. It's an unbelievable feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
I went to the first UFC here in the UAE, Abu Dhabi, I think, about 12 years? I don't know, 11 years ago, I think it was.
Anderson Silva.
I was there.
And I wasn't really into UFC then. I was enjoying the sport and getting to understand it. I had no idea who I was watching. I did not know that it was Anderson Silva, right? I knew that guy was good. Right. I look back in years and I like now and I'm like, wow, that was a huge card. There were some big fighters on that card. So that was my first like real taste. And then I think from there, I just started to watch it. It was showing on the local networks around this place. So, man, I used to just want to, I don't know, for me, it became more of just watching two guys and, eventually the girls get in the octagon and just beat each other up. And then progressively, I started to get more and more knowledgeable on the sport about it really not just two people getting in the octagon and smashing themselves, that there is a strategy behind it. There are different types of moves and different types of techniques. And this guy was better at wrestling than BJJ, and this girl was better at this. So I started to really, really get involved that way. And it just became a bit of a passion. I think like a lot of us, we just, we just watch it. And then, about, I think 5 years ago, I ended up working closely to help launch the UFC gym brand here in the region. And I became one of their like sort of main ambassadors. And that allowed me just to get really into what the UFC family was all about. And it is a family and it's a community at the same time, and I was training with a lot of the guys, some of the good like fighters that were here as well. And, I don't know how to fight or anything like that. I think I can hold my own, but I don't know how to like, I don't know all the techniques and, everything to a professional or even an amateur sort of feel. But for me, I don't think there's not much the way that I used to train when I was just training MMA, man, there's nothing in the world like it. And be it you're on the mats or just smashing the bag or whatever it is that you're doing, like you're just burning calories and you're sweating, and it's so different to just getting on a treadmill or just lifting weights. And I remember leaning out and having my body do what I wanted it to do. It felt so good. So I guess the way that it was making me feel training and also watching it really gave me some passion for it.
Have you ever been into an amateur fight or tried it out at least?
Being in the, like to actually not, listen, like sparring, just like, when you're sparring with someone and then like it gets a little bit of that. But I've been offered many times to get in the octagon and fight, even for money. It's like, we're doing this amateur thing. Do you want to get in there? And, we'll put you on the bill. And I'm like, dude, I'm 40 years old. I don't want to do that. I'm done. Like, you know what I mean? I don't need it.
Tarek's 41. He's going to be fighting soon.
Yeah. It's the same thing, man. I'm exactly the same as you. I mean, grew up playing rugby and then sort of got into MMA, and I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, you look like a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. But still, every now and then, man, just that adrenaline of that.
Yeah, but you playing rugby, man. Like rugby is one of the most physical sports in the world. I don't care what you say. I played league for many years, and
yeah, there you go.
You're getting belted, so you've already gone through. I mean, you've got that condition of just smack. Like for someone like me that I haven't gone through that. Like you, I mean, and you played pro, like you played top level rugby in Australia. Not many people get to that level.
That's
so
true.
You know what it takes. For me, the interesting thing, I don't have, if I had the want to get in the octagon or to get in a ring and do even a box just to do straight boxing, like if I had that, I'd probably want to get in. But, the other day at the gym, my coach and I, and we just started grappling, and he's more of a boxer. He's my box. He teaches me boxing, really. He doesn't understand anything else. So we were just sort of going at it lightly. And then I just went under and picked him up and put him down, right? And as a boxer, he doesn't know that. He doesn't really understand what's going on. And then like, I'm 100 and something kilos, so I just flattened him out and just put all my weight on him. And then we were on the ground and we weren't on mats because it was just a boxing place. So we're on this weird surface. Man, I got up, he got up, both our knees were bleeding. It was just like we just ripped our knees, right? Just from like this surface. For 11 days, I was crying like a baby. Look at my and she just turned to me and said, man, you could never do that for real. I'm like, yep. That's why when I look at these fighters in the octagon and what they're doing, and you got these idiots watching it on TV or in the crowd going, what are you doing? Get him. What are you saying? If you've never been in that position, even when I was training and my coaches used to just put me up against the octagon, like, puts his shoulder just into my chest, like, man, I couldn't even move. I was losing my breath. We weren't even fighting. Just his body up against my body took my breath away. And that's when I had so much more respect for what these guys do in there. It's brutal.
It is brutal, but like you said, it is an art form, and I think, to the outsider, and I think this is a big, Eamon will elaborate on this. It's kind of why we started the show and the podcast, is to sort of educate a little bit, especially in the Middle East, because we're so, football or soccer heavy, that it's not what it looks like. It's not just brutality. There's a lot of skill involved in there. Nobody's trying to get punched in the head. Everybody's trying to avoid getting punched in the head. That's where the wrestling and the grappling comes into it, and the submissions and all the rest of that. So, but yeah, to the outsider, it looks shocking, especially when you get cuts.
Go ahead.
Well, even as a career, it was never taken seriously in this part of the world, right? But now some game-changing stuff are happening with UFC coming to Fight Island, with all these promotions going into the big leagues. It's game-changing. So to kind of educate people, you have to do overnight. So something like Hosheh, I think, is a good means of doing that.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think and we've got great facilities here. We have great gyms. We've got Team Nogueira just down the road. You got UFC gym here. You got some great, like, real legit gyms that some great coaches doing what they do. And I think development as a I've got my daughters. My daughters are 9 and 11. Before COVID, they're doing BJJ. I get them doing BJJ just once or twice a week with a coach, one-on-one. Awesome. I just want them to learn, A, self-defense. I want them to be able to look after themselves when they get older anyway. B, it's great discipline. They understand what it is. And 3, they're getting fit at the same time. So, and I'm seeing a lot more other parents putting their kids into it, and I educate the market as well, where I tell them this is not just about, two kids coming together and hitting each other. They'd never do that. It's about discipline and also self-protection. And I wish I knew a little bit of this when I was growing up, 15, 16, 17 in Australia, I wish I knew how to just be able to, if needing to be in a position to get out of something if I needed to. Usually I just use my mouth. I just talk myself out of any situation, right? But there were a couple where I wish I would have known something. So I want to make sure that, I let my daughters understand that, God forbid they get in a position where they are in a situation, they know exactly what to do. My 9-year-old can do a rear naked chokehold. It will put you out. Like, I'm not joking. It will put you out. Like, it's just... Yeah, just straight back, wraps her legs around me and just yanks it. And I'm like tapping her out. She's 9. She's 9 years old, man. It's so good. Like, it's so good to be able to see that.
Look, I say that to dads, especially of girls. And I'm like you, and I'm fairly big lad. I'm 107, 108 kilos. And, I've rolled with high-level BJJ guys that are 30 kilos, 40 kilos lighter than me, who, world champion level black belts. And it doesn't matter how much. I am stronger than them by a long shot, and I am heavier than them by a long shot, and they will tap me out within the first minute every single time. And that's why I say to dads or mums, just parents of girls especially, BJJ for girls, as far as I'm concerned, is the absolute best thing you can teach them, because it removes that weight and strength advantage in male versus female. I know some chicks that'll belt the Jesus out of anyone, like put anyone's lights out.
Yeah,
it puts your ego in check as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nothing better than knowing, and like being able to do that brings you self-confidence as well. And if you're able to manage that art, and like a lot of these fighters, I mean, I've met a lot of UFC fighters, I've met a lot of professional fighters. A lot of these guys outside the octagon are actually pretty calm and cool dudes, because if they're good enough, they understand that they basically have weapons. They're a weapon themselves. So they have to manage that. They have to make sure they always control that, right? Yeah. Because you are, 100%. Now if someone knows what they're doing with BJJ and all that, it's different level stuff. It's, and you see it always on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. You see these street fights where it's like this guy's like, yeah, come on. And then the guy's out, because the guy has no idea that this guy has been doing MMA for the last 17 years.
Yeah. I usually
it's crazy to see, but yeah. So the funniest thing was when I was at the UFC in Abu Dhabi, not the one that just went with McGregor, the prior one with Khabib. So I don't know if you guys got to that fight.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah.
Okay, so we were sitting up the front somewhere, but a lot of the boys from Khabib fans were all up in their seats, but not in their proper seats, right? They were just sitting because they were passionate. They just wanted to see the fight. So all the security were like, guys, you have to move. And a lot of the boys didn't want to move. And I remember there was like a guy sitting next to me who was going to try to get into it a little bit with these boys to say, hey, you need to move. And I'm looking at their ears and I'm going to the guy like this, like, bro, right, call security. Just get security to deal with it. And it was so cute because a lot of the security guards came and the boys didn't move. Then one local Emirati lady came and she asked them politely, said, excuse me, boys, these are not your seats. Please move. The 12 of them stood up and just walked off. I was like, this is great.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's power.
That's unreal.
So what did you think of the, I mean, we're going to jump into 259, I believe, right? So
a little bit.
What did you think of the Conor Poirier fight?
Listen, I was there. I watched it. I had an opportunity to interview Conor McGregor, 4 days prior to the fight. He seemed very relaxed, as usual, seemed very confident. He was polite. He wasn't, even after I did the interview with him, a lot of people were like, wow, he came across really nice. And I'm like, yeah, again, what you see, what we see sometimes in the media is different to who they really are. No. Tariq, you'd know Anthony Mundine growing up in Australia. I know Anthony growing up, especially him and I interviewed him a bunch of times. We knew of each other. I got to be around his circle. Man, that guy in Australia, in the media, was always very that arrogant sort of individual. Similar to that McGregor sort of feel, I'm the best, no one's going to beat me, da-da-da. Take him out of the circle of the cameras and all that around him, a really humble human being who is very polite and very nice. And so sitting down with Conor quickly, it was nice to see that side of him as well. And, then going to the fight, I did not know, like I walked into that fight thinking to myself, all right, McGregor, we know him. But Dustin's amazing, man, and he's got so many different capabilities. They were both different fighters from the time they fought 7 years prior, I think, to what they fought.
Different weight class as well.
Yeah, exactly. And they've gone. Just think about what they've both gone through in those years. I believe they're two different fighters and two different humans. Mentally and physically, I think completely different. I wanted McGregor to win. I wanted McGregor to win because I wanted him to win for the sport. I think for the UFC and what he's done to the sport is one of the reasons why it's so big right now globally.
I'm so happy to hear you say that, man, because a lot of people don't see that part of it, right? They just see the arrogance.
Dude. Yeah, no. And I mean, and again, at a certain level, when you're a certain level of an athlete, you can be arrogant. I'm sorry. You can be arrogant. When you know that there's not many people in the world that can go into a cage and beat you, like in the whole world. Think about the whole world, all of us. How many people is there in this world? And you know that there's a handful of people that will give you a challenge in that octagon, you're going to be arrogant. Like that's how you are, right?
Sure.
So Dustin, I think, is an amazing fighter, and you could see what he did. That one, it was that leg kick. That leg kick was I felt like McGregor was dominating he dominated the first round. I thought he controlled the first round, and you can see it. It was that leg kick. I spoke to his camp after the fight as well, just to see how he was doing, and they told one of them told me the same thing. It was the leg kick. It just completely took it out, and then you could see he came out and said the same thing. It had that huge welt on it. And again, I'm not a fighter, but Tariq and you, Emma, if you're in there and you get hit in the leg, I mean, from what I understand, your leg is your base, man.
Flip them in for it, right? If you have been copping a lot of leg kicks throughout your training camp, then 2 or 3 solid ones during the fight, they're going to take your leg out. But if you've been training to block, well, check them first of all, and second of all, absorb them. Then your leg gets conditioned towards it. And I just don't know if he had enough of that during his training camp. That's all.
Not only that, Dustin's a southpaw. Don't forget that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very rare to get those kind of kicks unless you spar with a southpaw who's as good as Dustin. And they're pretty rare, right?
Because they're both southpaws, and I think that plays a big part of it. Also, and then the third thing is Conor's stance, which really just sticks that leg right out, kind of asking for it, more or less.
Yeah, I read somewhere, I think he said it, that he said he was prepared. He hasn't fought too many times since, like, between Mayweather. Yeah, between Mayweather and Dustin, was it just one fight?
Habib and Cowboy.
Yeah. Cowboy Cerrone, yeah. And so Habib before that.
Yeah. He said that he was training way too much boxing and he wasn't concentrating enough on the bottom half because he was obviously training for Mayweather or whatever. But prior to that, so I think I read the article just recently that he was saying that he was mentally, he knows what he has to do. He's pushing now for number 3. He wants the trilogy. You can already see that. It's on his social media. He wants number 3. I'm ready to see it. I think I'm ready to. I'd love to see it. But for the sport, he's fantastic. And, guaranteed if he won that, I reckon we would have seen Khabib come out and say, all right, let's do it. That's what I think would have happened possibly.
I think it would have been more enticing for him. What happened further on down the card, I thought would have enticed him in terms of Chandler Hooker.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because my God, what was that, man?
Crazy.
Hell, what was that?
Yeah, they were saying that Chandler's the next one, right? Just to possibly come in and just dominate them all.
Yeah,
we were interviewing a Jordanian guy the other day who's a pretty good fighter and on his way to the UFC, no doubt. And he's been following Chandler for the past 5-6 years. And throughout these 5-6 years, watching Chandler, he said that Chandler is the one that can actually take Habib out. And he's been saying that all along, right? So it's funny to see him walk into the UFC now. So I think there's something there. If Chandler dominates the way we expect him to, I think there's something there for Habib.
Well, he called him out. He called him out at the end of the fight, right? He politely said, if Khabib, you would come out, it's nice. It showed some respect, actually. I liked it because he was all mean and green at everyone, and then it got to Khabib and he paid it like, and if you come out, I'll fight you as well,
Yeah. You have to pay him his respect.
I don't think any of those guys, let's be honest with each other, and, we've, like Eamon said, we've met and spoken with a lot of them, and we've interviewed a few of them. I don't think any of them want to see Habib come out of retirement because from my standpoint, no one beats Habib in that division.
It's like he's in a different league, different level.
No, not Chandler and not Gaethje and not Oliveira, not Poirier and not Conor. I don't think anybody beats Habib in the lightweight division ever.
Yeah, he's just especially just on the ground. Like
he's a freak, man. The guy's a freak.
It is. He is in a league. Where I went about a month back? I went to the NAS Sports Academy here. Do you know
he's training out there.
Yeah, so it was pretty amazing to see this academy that they've got in Dubai. It's made just for the elite athletes, and they all go there. It's invite only.
Yeah,
I was lucky enough to go in there, and the first thing I said to them is like, "Can you show me where Khabib trains? I just want to go and have a look." And they just took me into this. It's just a huge gym, bunch of mats everywhere, and it's pretty cool. Like he loves it out here this way as well. So, the Middle East is becoming a it's becoming the spot. I spoke to Dana White about a month or 2 months ago now, and Dana's a legend. He's someone that I look up to personally as well, like just as what he's created. And just to say to him, like I asked him about the Middle East, and he said, you know what, Abu Dhabi and possibly Saudi, this is it. Like this, we will make it the place to be when it comes to fighting worldwide. And I think that's so cool that, I still want London, and you still want Vegas, and you still want, those sort of areas to be some key fights, but to bring them out this way to the, Abu Dhabi, possibly Dubai, you never know later on, or, Saudi, I think this is really, really good for the sport. It's connecting a lot of people, but he was so impressed. He said, not just saying it for the cameras and everything else. He was just so impressed on how Abu Dhabi handled everything through the pandemic and getting it done. When he's been doing this for years. He knows how it all runs. And the UFC is a strict camp. When they come in on their own. Like they come in and take over the city basically. Like this is what we want. Their people come in and they do everything. Everybody else is sort of pushed out and they run their camp. So the fact that he's so happy that how it's all gone is just it's only good for the sport.
Yeah, I reckon, absolutely, man, and it's good for us because we're there every time. We went for all three. We went to 2 events. We went to the Chiesa Magni fight because our friend Munir Lazaz was fighting Wally Alves, and then we went to the the Conor Poirier fight.
Yeah. I wanted Munir to win that. I wanted Munir.
Man.
I actually didn't.
Oh yeah, he's coming back.
We met him 2 days ago. Yeah, he's pretty bummed out, but I think he needed to go through this right now. And everyone who transitions into the UFC from a different promotion goes through that at some point. So I'm glad he got it over with at this point, and he's going to come back strong.
I've got I don't know if you know who Jacob Malkoun is.
Oh yeah, I know Jake.
Yeah, so Jacob's an Aussie. He's we're somehow related. Funny enough, his mother messaged my mother or something and said, my son's going to the UAE to fight, right? My dad messages me and go, hey, we've got like a second cousin. This is just a typical Lebanese story. We've got a cousin who's coming to the UAE to fight. I've got no idea what they're talking about, right? And then anyway, I get on Instagram, I have a look, and it's like Jacob Malkoun. I'm like, this is fighting in the UFC. What do you mean? Like, he had a fight, but the same thing, an amazing fighter, and just got in there and unfortunately got knocked out in about 20 seconds, right? But they come back. But as a fighter, I mean, again, I don't know that feeling of losing physically in a fight, but I know it must just take so much out of you. But to rebuild it, is it hard? Is it hard to rebuild the fact of getting that confidence to go back in? Is that loss still in the back of your head as you're just about to get into this next round?
Look, from talking to a lot of these guys, it seems... Sorry, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the fighters who went through losses. Look at Jose Aldo. He was dominant for, 8-10 years, undefeated, defended his belt. He's a legend of the sport, right? And he dominated with confidence. First loss, 13-second knockout to Conor McGregor, and that was it, man. It's hard to come back. Anderson Silva, first loss from Chris Weidman. After that, it was just downhill, right? It was just. But
that's the thing, and I think Eamon's right. When you start taking your losses after you've been at the top for so long, I think it's really hard to come back.
Exactly.
But losses at the start of your career, when I mean, this was Munir's second fight. His first one was against Abdulrazak Al Hassan, who's an absolute beast in his own right, and Munir
dominated it,
smashed him.
Yeah.
So I think getting a loss in your second fight in the UFC is definitely something he'll come back from better and bigger and stronger than ever, because that's going to fuel the fire. But when you've been sitting at the top of that hill for years and then you take a loss, you've been walking around for years going, I am freaking, I am Superman. And then bang, that gets shattered. It's different. Yeah. A startup guy, somebody who's 2-3 fights in, still hasn't got that. He's still...
Yeah. I agree. I mean, again, I'd probably, I'm not a fighter, but if I was going to take some losses, I'd rather take them on early than get them in later. Because you'd also, it's like I'm a basketball fan and they've been doing these bits now, the commentators, like, he's 44 shots from the free throw line and he hasn't missed in 14 games. I'm like, dude, why? that pressure, and you know the player is feeling that because he knows, and that pressure of like he hasn't missed a free throw all year, and then misses it. But as soon as he misses it, he's disappointed. But then he's actually lost that pressure, and then he can continue with the rest of the season just doing what he does without this thing in his head of I haven't missed. So I'm guessing for that fighter sort of feel, that's what you want to do. You know,
it also depends on how you lose as well, right? So, for example, with Munir, he's a world-class striker in his own right? He knows he's a better striker than Worley Alves. So Worley took Munir out at Munir's game, right? And due to certain mistakes Munir made. And he knows he's a better striker than Worley. So that kind of confidence allows him to live and learn and grow. But when someone like Aldo, for example, completely dominates and annihilates you, be it at your own game or another game where you feel there's a tier level difference there, then that's not good on your psyche. You can't come back from that, right? Your whole confidence is completely shattered.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a big card coming up as well, which is cool. Izzy.
Izzy Blachowicz. Izzy Blachowicz. What do you think? You're the celeb. You're the guest. Give us your opinion.
I think, talking about good guys, I went to Saudi Arabia 2 years ago, and I was there to call a fight, actually. One of my good mates, Billy Dibb, a professional boxer out of Sydney, was fighting another buddy of mine, Amir Khan, right?
Yeah.
So there we are. I'm on a stage. I've got Amir Khan, Billy Dibb. I've got Lennox Lewis. I've got a couple of world champion boxers next to me who like legends, like older guys.
Oh, my
God. I've got Randy Couture. No, not Randy. Iceman with me.
Chocolate.
Yeah, he's with me. And then
oh my God,
Izzy just walks up, and I was like, this is Israel Adesanya. Like I was trying to understand what was going on. I'm at a boxing event, and then I see Israel come up. And I was like, man, what's going on? I go, hey, I'm a Sydney boy, Aussie boy. And he goes, hey, man, nice to meet you, da-da-da-da-da. We end up chatting for about 5 or 10 minutes. Another good guy, where I was like, oh, this guy's cool. Like, you're not a douche. You're not an idiot. And so since then, I became a fan. I was already a fan of him. But, like, you know, when you and you would have got this now interviewing some of the UFC fighters and that, when you meet your celebrity or the guys that you love, if they end up being a bit of an douche or idiot,
it's
you know,
tough,
like,
man.
it's happened to me a couple. It's, you know, for me, The Rock is my guy, right? The Rock's up there. And when I interviewed him for the first time in person, all I kept thinking to myself was like, please be a good guy. Please be a good guy. Don't ruin my dreams. Don't ruin my dreams. And he was amazing, right? I got to sit in a room where The Rock couldn't see me, but he was with his team. And I was just listening to him and his team interact for about 15 minutes before we went in to do this interview.
Oh my God.
And it was like I was a kid, man. It was like Santa Claus was around the corner. I'm like, I'm listening in, and I'm just listening to The Rock interact with his staff and laugh and be cool, and the way that he was speaking to people. And I was like, wow, this guy's great. And then I walked in and did the interview, and he was just on it again, like just a good guy. So with Israel, I was like, be cool. He was. I think he's going to dominate it. And I don't know, man. He's another one, so confident, but he can back it up. Everything he says, everything he does, he's totally on it. I think he's going up. He's going up for this, isn't he?
He's going up. He's going up to light heavyweight.
205, whatever. Yeah. So
Look,
I don't know.
From my perspective, it's insane to me that Jan Blachowicz, the reigning world champ, is a 3-1 underdog in the fight where he's defending his belt. Fine, I understand Izzy's, you know, the aura, the thing around Izzy. I mean, and Jan Blachowicz is getting written off by everyone. Everyone's writing him off.
Really?
All the coaches, the fans, everyone's like, oh yeah, Izzy's going to kill him. I have a funny feeling that the Polish power is gonna. I think if Blachowicz doesn't try to play Izzy's game and doesn't stand at distance and try to outstrike him, I think if he rushes him and turns it into a bar brawl, I think he could take it.
But you can't do that with Izzy, man. He's too lanky and slick. You can't do that.
You got to do it. You got to bum rush him.
How's Izzy's chin? Has it been tested?
We don't know.
How many people have hit him in the face? None.
Yeah. I mean, he got a couple of shots in from Romero, but nothing substantial. We don't know, man. Same with Chimaev. We don't know. Same with a few others.
Hamzat, you just don't know. Yeah.
Well, I just think the hype is real with obviously Izzy. I think he's cool. He's got that Anderson Silva sort of feel to him early on, where he's just controlling it. As soon as he's in the octagon, he's just controlling it from the beginning. He's a bit of a smarty as well, a bit of a smart ass, the way that he moves and does his little things. I think all of that aside, I think he's another one for the sport. That's good. I think he brings a little bit of extra flavor as a fighter. But I'd like to see him win. Is it Thiago Santos? Did he lose against him as well?
I think ago, if I'm not
2019,
mistaken.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If I'm not I think you're right. I'll tell you the exact date.
So I mean, I don't know. All I'm thinking is that.
Yeah, you're right. The last loss he had was to Thiago in 2019. You're right.
In 2019, it's not that long ago. I don't know how many fights he's had between that. Can't be too many.
He's had 4.
He's had 4.
In that time, he's beaten Luke Rockhold, he's beaten Ronaldo Souza, he's beaten Corey Henderson, and he's beat Dominic Reyes.
Oh my God, those are top. Oh my God.
Dominic Reyes beat John Jones. Unofficially beat John Jones. Yeah. So I don't know why anybody would be writing off Jan Blachowicz. I think if Jan gets in his face, cuts him off, and manages that distance, Jan Blachowicz can knock anyone out. I don't care who you are.
I agree. And then Amanda
Nunes.
There's no. It's just her.
She's an Aussie, but the thing is, she's fighting an Aussie girl. She's fighting Megan Anderson.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm all torn up inside, but I'm going to say this now while I've got Kris Fade, because I've got to say it. Rest in peace, Megan Anderson. No one should fight Amanda Nunes.
She's ex Invictus, right? Like she's come. That's where Megan's come from, right?
Yeah,
Invictus. Most elite women fighters come from Invictus. But I think
no one should fight Amanda Nunes. No one should fight Amanda Nunes. They should let her keep the belt, pay her every month, and then when she decides she's done with it, she gives it back to them, and then people can go back to fighting.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and disagree with you. We've done it before, and you were wrong. I think Megan Anderson is going to give her a relatively tough time.
Get knocked out in the second round instead of the 5th?
What did we say? Okay, let's not go there. You were wrong the last time. You're going to be wrong this time.
This is what we do, by the way. We bicker.
Good.
Yeah, we bicker. And but listen, going back to Blachowicz, I think I'm going to agree with Tarek here. I think we're going to see a surprise from Blachowicz. I think he's got it in him.
If you're a betting man, this would be one that you would bet on.
I'm putting my money on Blachowicz.
I'll put my money on Blachowicz. Yeah,
I think this will be Izzy's
demise or wake up. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. This is not a popular opinion by any means. We are.
I love Izzy. Don't get me wrong, but and I think it's for Blachowicz, Izzy is the worst stylistic matchup, the worst. But man, you can't underestimate that Polish beast. Polish power, man. You can't.
Has Izzy ever fought at this weight before, or is this the first time?
No, first time in the UFC, first time.
Yeah. Let's see.
But
let's see what happens.
If he does win,
he fights Amanda Nunes.
Or Jake Paul.
Oh, please don't start. You know, I went to Jake Paul's wedding in Vegas 2 years ago.
Did you?
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Crazy story.
Oh.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I was already in LA, and then my mate calls me up. My mate Shiraz is connected there. He's a great guy. I love him. He's like family. And he says to me, "Hey, I'm going to the wedding. You want to come?" I said, "No, not really." He's like, "Come on, let's go. You're in LA. Let's fly to Vegas. We'll do a one-night thing." I said, "All right." So we get on a plane. We get to this mansion in Vegas. It's all white. There's just a bunch of influencers there. I felt like I was on Instagram. I was just looking around. Like I was in Instagram. I was like doing this in real life, you know? And then, the wedding ended up being a fake wedding, right? It was like a media stunt. My mate, another guy comes to me and says, "Yo, we're going to give you, this is 100% a true story, $10,000 cash if you go start a fight when they're just about to say, 'I do' at the altar." And I went, "What do you mean?" They're like, "We'll give you $10,000 cash straight out. All you got to do is go start a fight at the altar with Jake and his groomsmen. They're in on it." I said, "What?"
No,
I said, "No,
You're
no,
kidding.
I'm okay. No, I'm not." And so I didn't do it. You know, going back to those boys, Logan, and I've spent a bit of time with Logan Paul. Again, Logan, really, really nice guy. Really, really cool dude. I don't know Jake very well, but I know Logan, genuinely a good guy. Has made some bad...
They're very different. And Logan actually is taking this, he's doing this the right way.
Yeah, and
Jake is not.
Well, yeah, Logan's made some mistakes, and I think he's learned from that, and he's admitted that. I think Jake is obviously going through his journey right now, but, you know, as much as everybody hates him or gives him crap, you know, I just tell them, you know, they're making a bunch of cash. You know, they're doing this. Like, they're playing everyone, including the audience of like, who are these guys doing that? Like, these are guys banking a lot of money. And Jake's just about to jump into the ring again. You know,
against Ben Askren.
I mean, can he box? Because I just saw a video of him boxing.
No.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say that.
Nushi and Kiki in a cage with Ben Askren would probably knock him out.
He can't box, man.
He cannot box.
He put a video up on his own Instagram of him boxing. I thought he was pretending. Like, because I thought to myself, who's this guy? He's got no technique. I didn't know what he was doing. I thought it was a joke, maybe.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it's a joke.
He's shocking. He's really bad. As a boxer, he's really bad. He's terrible, man. He's terrible as a boxer. But then again, the guy's just had hip surgery. He's got a brand new hip. Right? It's that bad.
He's going to get knocked out badly.
Yeah.
Badly.
Look, I don't want to say that because Ben Askren was in the UFC and Bellator. I'm just saying.
Man, he's never thrown a strike in his life, dude.
I know.
The funniest tweet I saw was like, "Yo, Ben, we'll forget about what happened between you in the octagon before if you just knock out Jake Paul."
About him and Masvidal. Him getting knocked out by Masvidal.
That Masvidal knockout still haunts me. Listen, as much as it was skill, it was a lot of luck. I felt like head coming down.
Watch his prep videos.
No.
That exact kick with the exact timing, with the exact footwork.
Yeah.
Step by step, exact replica.
He knew for a fact that Ben was going to come out of his corner and try to take him down because that's all Ben can do against someone like Masvidal. Okay. And he knew as soon as he saw the level change that he's just going to knee him in the face. If he didn't do it in the first round, he would have done it in the second.
Watch it in slow motion, man.
That was planned.
That was.
Yeah, I saw him in the training camp and then him in the ring, the side by side, where it shows you him doing it in succession. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but Ben is just an unusual guy. These influencers and what they're doing, they're changing the game, man. Like, they are really, truly changing the game.
Man,
some of these older, right? What's that?
Ben's an Olympian. The guy wrestled in the Olympics.
Yeah, I know.
He was the Bellator champ. The guy is not, he's not some dude off the street, but he cannot box. Yeah, but you think about these fighters, especially like the likes of him, they wouldn't be sitting on millions and millions of dollars. Like, they need the money. So if they can bank $3 or $4 million for having a fight, if not more,
they're going to take it, man. Even if they lose, they're like, you know what? It's going to hook my family up for the next how many years? I'm going to take it. But I like it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
Point, Good
you know,
I'll get belted for half an hour for half of that.
100%.
Happily do that.
I was having a conversation about 2 weeks ago with you know Prince Nassim.
Yeah.
Prince Nassim.
He was at the UFC. Were you with him?
I wasn't with him, but he was. You know, he's one of the greatest boxers. You know,
of all time.
to ever live, man, and what he did. And I was sitting down having coffee with him, and we are just having a chat. And you know, I said, "Come on, all these boxers are coming out of retirement like Tyson. What about you, mate?" And like, you know, he didn't say anything about like yay or nay, but you know, it's definitely crossed his mind. You know what I mean? Like because you're thinking if these guys can come out, smash $20 million, $50 million, whatever it is, for all the hype, go ahead and do it. You know, but you know, it's just that's what I love about this sport. There is so much to it, and if people aren't following it, it is so much more than just, you know, getting in the octagon and sort of smashing your heads.
Yeah, on the flip side of that.
Sick.
On the flip side of that, sorry, Tariq, it's tainting the sport of boxing. Like 10, 20 years ago, you say boxing, it's an elite sport only for a certain number of individuals on the planet, right? That's been tainted and broken down now. So it's a shame as well, I think.
Entertainment's entertainment. Well, back to Prince Nassim, man. Your boy got thick, huh?
Yeah. He's a big boy. He's a big boy with a big heart, though. He's a good guy, but I think he'll. I think this year might be one of his years. He was saying that he wants to sort of get fit again and just look after yourself. I think as we all get older, we realize that health is everything that we need in life. You know, I think about some of the stuff that I would do, like you, bro, getting into 41, getting into that octagon. Come on, man, come on.
That's all good. That's all good.
When are you doing it? When I want to come watch. When is it?
I don't know. It'll probably some stage in 2022. I would say, not 21.
No, it will be exactly probably October.
Yeah,
2021.
Probably.
Okay, well, I want to be there for that. You know who I got put to sleep by?
Who?
Royce Gracie.
No.
Yeah, he put me to sleep.
He wouldn't let you tap?
No, I told him put me to sleep.
What's wrong with you, man? Why would you do that?
So there was a video of this on YouTube, but it's now more than 10 years old, I think. So it's got deleted, which really gets to me because I wanted that. Listen, it's like having Michael Jordan dunk and you getting it's funny.
Yeah.
I always said if I ever interview Mike Tyson, I want him to knock me out. And then I interviewed him and I saw him and I just everything just backed off. I was like,
you should have gone for a gut shot.
Nah, none of it.
No.
Yeah, Royce was amazing, man. Yeah, we interviewed him and then I just said to him, hey, it'd be an honor for you to put me to sleep, bro. And he goes, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. And
mentalist.
Just comes from behind. He just squeezed. This is the first and only time I've ever been put to sleep. What a weird feeling that is.
It doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel bad, right? When you wake up, you feel pretty good.
Yeah, it doesn't. But just those moments of like, that.
Yeah.
When you're trying to get the air, my face was like a tomato, man. It was just red raw.
It's not the best way to get to put to sleep. What you should be hoping for is like an arm triangle. So instead of a choke, you actually get a blood supply stop. That doesn't feel bad at all.
Well, maybe that's what because I had my arms up like this, and he's like, okay, and then the video, I just like this, ready, and then.
Where can I find that video, man?
Dude, it's off. That's what I'm saying. I'm so angry that I don't have it. If anyone's watching this, okay, I need it, but. It was and then it was probably like 3 or 4 seconds. I get up and he goes, "You see Tinkerbell? You see the Tinkerbell?" I'm like, I saw Tinkerbell. And then I remember it was the thing for me, I remember the hearing went. I remember just the sound just going silent.
Yeah.
And the next day, just a vein, blood, like a bruise right here.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, if someone told me to do that now, I'll tell them to go get, like no chance.
Yeah.
Like stupid that I even did that. But It's something that I remember for the rest of my life.
Hey, man, you got choked out by one of the best in the world. I think we've got time to cover just one more fight, Eamon.
Sure.
We'll skip through them and we'll go down to the other championship fight. Peter Yan and Aljo Sterling.
Aljo Sterling for me. Quick answer.
I don't know enough about these guys to judge them for me, so I'll take your word on it. What are we looking at?
Watch that for Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan.
Aljamain Sterling by far. Easy.
For me, Peter Yan is going to teach Aljo a lesson.
Why?
He's just very dominant and very aggressive, man. He has that Russian.
Look, their records are almost the same. I mean, what are they? 15-1 each or 15-2 each? There's not much of a difference records wise. But Peter Yan, just the tear he's been on, and now he's got the belt. And you look at him and you listen to him. I think Peter Yan is like, at the moment in that division, Peter Yan is. I don't think he's stoppable at all. And as good as Aljo is, I think he's going to stop Aljo.
So Peter Yan only has a split decision in his entire career. That's his only loss. Sterling, man. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm just happy that the UFC's back again. I mean, I'm just loving that we're getting these fights now.
Where were you at the Conor McGregor fight? We were like almost cage side. Where were you at?
In a box.
There we go.
The Etihad box, baby. Sitting there, nice, comfortable. How was it down there? How was it? You had the. I love that they created a bubble within the bubble.
You see the plastic thing, the plastic barrier.
Yep.
It was plastic barrier. Us.
Was that plastic barrier all right? I was trying to work out if that was going to be a little annoying.
Not an issue at all.
Not at all.
I would rather. It's hard. When I went to state when I was in LA last before quarantining and all that, I went to a fight at Staples. Me and the missus went. And then I realized I don't want to take my missus to fights anymore. It's just too hard. Everyone's always, and I feel like everyone's there, they're ready to there's so much adrenaline in there.
Yeah.
Got my missus there. I feel like I've got to walk around and protect. What are you looking at? I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go with the boys. But yeah, I got some, I bought some good tickets just from online. Yeah. They were on the ground, but they were too far back on the ground. They were probably 15 rows back. And I realized, I watched the entire fight looking at the screen. I wasn't looking at the fight because I was trying to go through everything. So I found now that if I do go to UFCs, I always want to try to be a little bit higher, unless, yes, you're right, at the cage area sort of feel,
That was something else, man. It was different.
Amazing.
We need to take a podcast selfie.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, single buys all around. All right. Well, I know Eamon's got to shoot off. Kris, we absolutely loved the chat, mate. That was amazing.
We do it again, man. We have to.
Awesome chat. Can we do it again?
Sure, yeah, man. Yeah, we'll do it again. Definitely. It's enjoyable to be able to do this. It's enjoyable.
We're thinking about we're gonna throw a Zoom party for UFC 259 and invite a bunch of people, all watch it together.
Okay.
Obviously, because we can't go to Vegas at the moment. So
yeah, is someone illegally streaming it for us? Or we're paying the rights?
Everyone's going to watch their own legal stream. We don't do that. We're trying to stay in Uncle Dana's good books.
100%. Funniest thing that I saw. Did you see that kid that streamed it illegally but put himself in the corner with the video game?
Yeah.
It looked like he was playing a video game. They didn't take it down the whole time. But yeah, shout out to Abu Dhabi. Shout out to Abu Dhabi Tourism. Shout out to Stars Play as well. Stars Play just took the rights as well to the UFC in this region. So
Play and Etihad Arena.
100%. It's really good. It's good to see that some of these big brands are supporting it. So inshallah, we do it again, boys. It's a pleasure. And watch Izzy for the win. Yeah.
Fingers crossed, man. Thanks, man. It was a pleasure, Kris.
Likewise.
Thank you so much, brother. We'll catch up soon.
Yalla, man. Bye. See you guys.